When you have a database with many tables, like this one, just as an example, you probably want to regulate how users can get access to all the information. So what I made sure is that all these forms, they can only be opened from order entry. So if I open another one, it tells me you can only open form order entry. When you do that, it will automatically pop up with the information about this specific salesperson or employee. If you go to a new record, that employee should update if it's a different employee. You can only close this one, not from here, we blocked that, but from the button close. So if I want it back, then I click on Synchronize Employee Information. Then I can go to the customer information. This is the customer. So when I click on that button, this gives me information about the customer. I can look things up. I can only go back through the back button. I can also go to the product information. And this gives me product information. I can either go back or go to the supplier information. And it gives me all that information. Go to the product listing. And that is that one. I can only go back through this one. Back through that one. Back through that one. And it takes me back here. It opens this one automatically. That's what we are going to do through VBA. Access is a notoriously difficult program. It's hard to figure things out on your own. Access is difficult. Excel is easier. You can figure out things on your own. But in Access, I would recommend that you learn how to do all these issues by buying my CD-ROM that you can find at genesispc.com. Same applies to Access VBA. I made a CD-ROM for Access 2007, but you can also use it in 2010 and 2013 that does all these things. All these CD-ROMs use a screen like this. You will be able to navigate by searching, by going previous, next, and you can go to the index of all the issues that were discussed. I will just do one simple example from this CD-ROM called "Do you make those forms?" That is something I explained to you on the first CD-ROM. So this is what we are going to do. This is the form that the user can open. And it has buttons on it to synchronize employee information. From here we go to the customer's information and to the product information that comes with certain issues. So these are the connections. The question is, how do you do that in Visual Basic? We create in a module a general procedure, a subroutine that has 1, 2, 3 different arguments. What is the secret in this case? We use the open arguments argument, and we call that exclusive, and we store in the forms tag the name as tag. Then we call that subroutine in the central form of this database, which is the form order entry. That's the one that the user can open. And it opens exclusively, and it puts in the tag the name of the form we have opened. When you click on this one, it will be the employees one, etc. We create filters, and be aware that certain filters use a field that is not a number but text. If it's text, you have to close after your equal sign. Before you close your double quotes, you have to start a single quote, and at the end you finish the single quote. This one again is a normal ID, which is a number. Then we do the same for the button click in form products. Open exclusive, And we do that one more time on the button click event in the form suppliers. You have to implement those buttons, and then you have to start a click event for that button. So we have basically this structure now. This is the main form that we use all the time, and that has access to the form products, customers, suppliers, product list, and it has also a link to. This is called the switch over, so you can switch over to those forms. That one we will discuss later. Then we add to the module a function that I call cancel open. It returns a boolean, yes or no, and it uses one argument, which form. If there are no arguments in that one, then we will say you can only open that from form order entry. And we set cancel open to true. This is the function cancel open. Then on the CDs, CD-ROMs that I just recommended to you, there are always questions that test you. What is wrong in the code? And these are the options we have. There is nothing wrong in this code. Then we are going to implement the function cancel open. When the form opens from customers or employees, etc., how do we use that function? You have 4 options again. If you have done all the previous chapters on this CD-ROM, you will be able to say what the correct answer is. Cancel equals cancel open me. Use the custom function cancel open in the open events of all the forms except form order entry and subform order entry. Cancel equals cancel open me. Remember, cancel open was a function that returns true or false. So if I set the open to cancel equals true, then we cancel that the form opens. So when I try to open a form like this, it will tell me you can only open the form order entry. So the user cannot open any other form. That makes your database much more user-friendly and prevents all kinds of errors that could pop up in the background. So once we open a corresponding form from the main form, or any other form, then we need to go back to the form it was called by. Say you had found this employee for a specific order. So if you want to close that one, we need also a subroutine in there. Here is the general procedure to do so. It uses the do command select object, which has the object name as a second argument. Do command select, and in the second argument we use s-tag, and we pass that on to go back through an argument. So then we use that subroutine in any return click events in all the forms except again the 2 ones that we want the user to be able to use. So in the form products, for instance, we have a back button and a go to supplier information for that product. The right buttons takes you further away in the stream, but you can always go back step by step to your original entry point. So now the synchronizing part. If the salesperson here is mislevering, then we want to open this one automatically. But when they move to another record by clicking here, another order, then we want this one to update. That is called synchronizing. So this is the synchronizing part. It has to be in sync with whatever is in that order entry, the employee. How do we do that? It's not really new except for the event current. The current event makes sure that each time you select a new record in that form of the orders, then this is all going to be done. We make sure that the main form remains visible, and that's where we ended up with. So as I said to you, these samples were taken from the CD-ROM, so you have an idea how that CD-ROM works. If you want to find all these other issues, I have no other way for you than buy this CD-ROM. You can find it at genesispc.com. It makes you a real professional in Access. It has helped thousands of other Access users. If you are a more general user of Access and you want to know how to do the simple things in Access without programming, I would recommend this CD-ROM to be found at genesispc.com.